Morgenthau! Let's finish this.
Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be my Marvel Falcon and Winter Soldier Episode 6 finale video. There were a whole bunch of Easter eggs, obviously some post-credit scenes telling you what's happening next with all these characters, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, I'm doing videos for all the Marvel Disney Plus series this year. Loki episodes are going to be next, so be sure to subscribe to get those episodes. And careful for spoilers if you have not seen the Falcon and Winter Soldier episodes yet. We'll just start at the beginning of the episode and number these as we go along, talking about Easter eggs and WTF moments. The title of the episode was One World, One People, which was the motto of the Flag Smashers, and they sort of called back to that with Falcon's big speech at the end. But the actual episode starts with Carly's voiceover talking to the other Flag Smashers, calling them to action, saying, "The GRC won't stop unless they make them." Then they jump right back to the moment where they left off at the end of episode 5, right after the Flag Smashers had taken the main GRC council hostage and taken over the building in New York City. It feels like a little bit of time has gone by, though, like a small time jump, enough time that all the law enforcement agencies had posted up around the building waiting to make a move. Winter Soldier has arrived in his full battle gear. Falcon tells him on the comms that he's got some backup coming, and Sharon Carter surprises him using that face swap digital technology from the Winter Soldier movie. You remember that's the same tech that Black Widow used to disguise herself as the older Hydra woman. She jokes about not getting that pardon, obviously big setup for the end of the episode where she's revealed as the power broker. Yes, we'll talk about that because there was some weird stuff happening with her storyline. When she's joking about not getting the pardon, Bucky also references his therapist from earlier in the series because him going to see the therapist was part of the deal that the government gave him when they pardoned him. Like, you have to go see this therapist as part of your pardon. Falcon flies overhead. You get just a brief glimpse of that Captain America upgraded wingsuit, the vibranium wingsuit that the Wakandans gave him. When Carly says he's here and looks up in the sky, obviously she's referencing Falcon showing up. She activates the Flag Smashers' plan. They throw gas bombs into the room, causing the GRC council members to run down the stairs. They're basically herding them like cattle so that they can use them as hostages. But conveniently, the first place that they run to is that giant room with all the windows facing the street so that Falcon can easily crash in with the shield, revealing his new Captain America suit. It looks pretty much what I expected it to look like, just a version of his suit that he got when he became Captain America in the comics. Except in the comics, it wasn't vibranium, it was just a regular upgraded suit like his Falcon suit. They use a bunch of calculated action scenes, different types of action scenes during the episode, different fight scenes to show you all the different abilities that his suit has too. But there's several lines of dialogue that they give to other characters around Falcon reacting to him in the Captain America suit to set him up to talk about himself as Captain America. Like, one of the GRC members instantly asks him, "Wait a minute, who are you?" so that he can say, "I'm Captain America." But it's basically him acknowledging that he is becoming Captain America. Like, I've fully decided to take the mantle, and that's why I'm wearing this suit. I think there were at least 2 or 3 other Black Falcon jokes in the episode with different characters referring to him as Black Falcon, which is just a callback to the joke from earlier when he went to see Isaiah Bradley the first time with that little kid. "Wait a minute, you're Black Falcon, right?" "No, I'm just Falcon." Then Batroc surprises him wearing a Flag Smasher mask. He made it very clear earlier in episode 5 that he doesn't give 2 craps about their movement. He was just using this as an opportunity to kill Falcon, and because Sharon Carter was supposedly going to pay him a ton of money. So while Falcon is busy fighting him, you have Sharon Carter and Winter Soldier trying to deal with the other Flag Smashers. And obviously, because of the big reveal, Sharon Carter being the power broker, this whole time she's sort of manipulating events according to her plan. Manipulating events so that she will get that pardon. Winter Soldier also gets on the call with Carly, joking about fighting for the wrong side. Obviously, that's a reference to him being Hydra for all those years. When he says he failed twice fighting for something bigger than himself, he's referencing World War II, where he kind of died in the train, almost died, then was taken by Hydra. And then the second time was Avengers Infinity War, when the Avengers failed to stop Thanos from snapping the Infinity Gauntlet, dusting half the universe. I think we can call fighting for the entire universe fighting for something bigger than yourself. Like, he's making a subtle reference to her being this misguided teenager. Like, listen, kid, you're young. You think everything you're doing is the most important thing in the world. I fought to save the universe. Don't talk to me about grand causes. But when they end the call, she kind of implies that she was purposefully trying to goad him on, stalling him for time, just to take him out of the equation so that he wouldn't be able to stop the Flag Smashers from taking the hostages. Which she succeeded in fantastically. Sharon Carter even shames him a little, like, you had one job to do. One other clue about Sharon Carter being way darker now too is when she takes out that one Flag Smasher super soldier with the mercury vapor explosive device, it literally melts his face off. That's how hardcore she is now. Doesn't even bat an eyelash. They have the big Falcon versus Batroc fight scene, or we could say Captain America versus Batroc, because he is acting as Captain America during the episode. But just for the purposes of this video, while I'm talking about these parts of the episode, I'm going to continue to reference him as Falcon so that I don't get too twisted around in my head. Their fight scene is pretty good though. They try to show that it's fairly even odds with a slight advantage to Falcon because of all his new Captain America Wakanda tech in the shield. Like, Batroc is clearly meant to be the better fighter, but Falcon's able to use all of his gear and the shield to knock him back long enough to get out and after the Flag Smasher convoy with the GRC hostages. The big twist though with his escape is that he throws the shield to break the glass and then flies out, but because he's super high up, the shield just flies off into the night and he has to take off after it to catch it in the air because he has the wingsuit. It's also a funny reference to him just not having 100% mastered the ability to bounce the shield off of anything and get it to come back to him, like he's still kind of learning with the shield. But you do notice how they very specifically split up the Flag Smashers between the land and the air. That's so that they could have this Captain America wingsuit action scene, just like the helicopter fight scene in episode 1, to show you all the extra abilities that his new wingsuit has. He unveils the brand new version of Red Wing. Thank you very much, Black Panther, for the assist. They show off more of its AI functions. It's able to scan the identities of the GRC member hostages to see if any of them are capable of flying the helicopter so that he can take out the Flag Smasher pilots without dooming them all to crash in the river. Which he then does using Red Wing. He uses it to yoink him right out the door mid-air, which is a straight-up Spider-Man move. He does save him from falling to his death and shields him with the new vibranium wings. And you do notice the way the camera focuses on him. It's very careful, very measured actions that he's taking so that everybody gets a really good look at him. Now, he's not doing it that way. He's just trying to save lives. But the way they filmed the episode, they want to show you everybody watching him and recording him on their phones. Like, they focus on all this crowd cheering for him while he's doing this, making all these saves. It's meant to be the opposite of what happened to John Walker when he killed the Flag Smasher in episode 4. The title of that episode was The Whole World is Watching him besmirch the good name of Captain America in the Shield. This time, the whole world was watching Falcon inspire all these people and give them the big moral talking to at the end of the episode as Captain America. But you do notice this continuing theme throughout the episode as Carly starts to slowly Hulk out more and more, like she goes full John Walker by the end of the episode. Some of the other super soldiers even show signs of revolt when she starts to go super hardcore, talking about dying for the cause, like we're all definitely going to die. But as they take over the convoy, they give Winter Soldier that really cool motorcycle action scene where he crashes over the barrier to give him a flying punch with his vibranium arm. It's a great twist on Steve Rogers' Captain America throwing his motorcycle at the Hydra soldiers in Avengers Age of Ultron. This time, it's Bucky using the motorcycle to throw himself at people. I was kind of hoping they'd show off some more secret abilities of his vibranium arm. They did give him some cool action scenes using the arm, but not quite as crazy as I was hoping for. Carly starts a fire around the hostages to distract Bucky again, just to give him someone to save, taking advantage of his newfound good nature. But this is obviously all meant to be set up for John Walker to enter the fight. So obviously he comes in shouting. I love the way that they framed the shot. They give him this hero entrance, but it's a very dark twist on a hero entrance. But they start by framing the shot on his Home Depot looking shield, full display, then they slowly pan up to his face. Of course, Carly says the worst possible thing she could say, implying that Lamar doesn't matter. I only want to kill people who matter, so you know exactly what John Walker's going to say before he says it. I know a lot of people were just waiting to see what would happen when he tried to use this homemade shield. Of course, it doesn't bounce the way the vibranium Captain America shield bounces, so she kicks it like a soccer ball and it just falls to the ground. Notice you can see all the weld points and the rivets in the back here. But while Bucky's busy, still trying to save the hostages, you have all the Flag Smashers tag teaming John Walker, and they have him dead to rights. Like they rip out the parking meter and they're gonna beat him with it, but Bucky winds up saving his life. One of the first turns in the episode of John Walker slowly starting to chill out and doing things in a more reasonable way. Even though there were a lot of fight scenes, it was a surprisingly bloodless finale. Now, there were a couple deaths. Like I said, Sharon Carter was shooting people all over the place, melting people's faces off, so I feel like her body count was actually one of the highest of any of the characters in the episode. They had that really cool scene with Bucky using his vibranium arm to absorb the shock of his landing when they whack him off the edge of the cliff. Then he uses it to absorb the impact of that girder when the super soldier attacks him with it, adding the force of their fall to the blow. That's the magic of vibranium right there. It absorbs kinetic energy. It can also be used to absorb regular energy damage too. That's what Black Panther's vibranium nanite suit is built to do, absorb kinetic and energy damage. They show off more of Falcon's new Captain America wingsuit abilities as he gets knocked underwater into the river. Notice how he's able to use his jetpack propulsion and his wings form around him to form a more hydrodynamic shape, like a cone shape, to make it easier for the jetpack to push him up out of the water and back into the air. It kind of turns him into a torpedo, like a Falcon torpedo. Then he uses the shield to perform a bigger version of the same stunt scene, the same helicopter fly-through move that he used in episode 1, basically snatching the other Flag Smasher pilot right out of his seat and through the other side. Then back with the hostages, we're kind of reaching the turning point with John Walker's character, so he's still trying to kill Karli at this point while the fire is still burning near the other group of hostages who are trapped, screaming for their lives. The important thing here, though, is that unlike Winter Soldier, who stopped fighting the Flag Smashers to save the one carload of people before he got knocked away, at least at this point, John Walker isn't paying attention to the hostages. He's just still laser focused on Karli. He's kind of like a super soldier bull in a china shop with that shield just taking those massive swipes at her. Then she sets up that big save scene with the car trying to crash it off of the cliff, getting stuck on the girders. This whole scene becomes a big plot moment for some of the twists later in the episode for the main characters. Karli's whole thing is that she wants to create a scenario for the press for maximum attention, maximum emotional, political impact, with them just hanging there by a thread, getting ready to die. But this time, John Walker finally comes to his senses, so to speak, and helps them, or at least tries to save them before the other Flag Smashers stop him. The whole public is gathered around watching this with their phones, just like they were watching him during episode 4, watching him kind of redeem himself a little bit. So it's why later in the episode, Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, Val, Madame Hydra, whatever you want to call her, is more easily able to get him appointed as U.S. agent from the comics with his comic book accurate black uniform. All that stuff felt like a big Thunderbolt setup, especially because it came hand in hand with the Zemo scene on the raft, and that is Thunderbolt Ross's personal prison. But predictably, it winds up being a big setup for Falcon to be the one to save the day as Captain America and for everyone to see him, all the public, the press, to watch him save the day as Captain America with his wingsuit. That's why the first thing to enter the frame when everybody is reacting to this is the shield itself. Like the shield enters frame, then you see his face in the rest of the wingsuit, pushing the car back up. You also notice too that there are a couple extra drones that break off smaller pieces of Red Wing to help boost the car back up. I'm sure there's all kinds of other little gadgets that he has built into the Red Wing there. Then Winter Soldier saves John Walker's life again when Karli tries to spear him, run him through with the rebar. And Falcon disables a couple of the super soldiers with the shield. They also use Batroc and all of his gas bombs to show you how Falcon's new visor can see through the gas. Pretty much the whole first half of the episode was just a tutorial in how Falcon's new suit works. Surprisingly, John Walker now officially teams up with Falcon and Winter Soldier to chase them down through the tunnels. This is obviously just more of Walker trying to do the right thing, like he kind of shaken himself out of full-blown serial killer mode and wasn't trying to kill the Flag Smashers anymore, like, okay, we'll try to do things your way now. But as they shift to the underground tunnels, the episode kind of goes into thriller mode. They sort of switch gears just a little bit. They have their big Sharon Carter standoff with Karli, which they use to reveal her as the power broker, that she's been the power broker this whole time. And she has this big conversation sort of explaining their history together as well. So the whole idea here is that Sharon Carter became the power broker, built this little criminal empire on Madripoor after the snap in the blip as a way to change the world that betrayed her, so to speak. Because remember, she kind of felt like she was cast aside, like I didn't get the pardon that the other Avengers got because I wasn't an important person. Then when the other Flag Smasher characters originally came to Madripoor after her, she used them as her muscle, sort of taking Karli in specifically because she reminded her of a younger version of herself, very naive and idealistic. But then eventually, as she says, Karli, the others rebelled, stole the super soldier serum, which she was planning on selling to the highest bidder, and used it on themselves to start their plot to stop the GRC. In Turnabout is Fair Play, double-crossing the double-crosser, she reveals that she really hired Batroc to spy on Karli at the summit the whole time, so that she would be able to stop the Flag Smashers and save the hostages, earning herself the pardon, manipulating all of these events the whole time to get that pardon. Later in the episode, we find out that's so that she can infiltrate the government and the military, giving her more access to special weapons, prototypes, all manner of tech that she can then sell to the highest bidder. So they've kind of turned the Sharon Carter character into more of a Val, like Madame Hydra type of character. Not really a good character anymore, but not necessarily a totally evil character as well. I do have some complaints about the way they plotted out the Sharon Carter storyline. Mostly that it feels like we didn't get enough with her character. They kind of gave us the Cliff's Notes version, and it was the simplest version of that plot. Like, I think by halfway through the episode, even after episode 3, I think most people believe that she was the power broker, which I don't think is a terrible direction to go for her character, but I feel like they could have done a much better job of explaining why she was doing all these things. The explainer that they gave us was kind of the, make a Seinfeld reference because we have Julia Louis-Dreyfus, was kind of the yada 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 explainer for Sharon Carter. Like, you kind of feel like Steve Rogers would have probably checked in on her after Avengers Endgame just to make sure she was okay. But the way she tells it in the episode, none of the Avengers characters ever bothered to check in on her, which I don't know that I buy totally. But then Batroc tries to blackmail her, demanding more money. She kills him to prevent her secret from getting out, and because Carly is able to shoot her while it's happening, Sharon Carter is able to make it look like she's the victim in all this, manipulating things when Falcon comes running up. They show you a couple more of his new wingsuit abilities during their fight scene, although it's more of a non-fight scene, because he's trying to de-escalate the situation while she keeps hulking out, screaming in his face, screaming at him to fight her. He's just like Iron Man in that he uses the technology to give him the same level of abilities that a lot of the other traditionally superpowered Avengers have. They have that funny moment with John Walker and Winter Soldier just to show you that John Walker has chilled out a little. He has that funny Abraham Lincoln quote, "Mercy bears richer fruit than strict justice," which is also a metaphor for him being less stabby now. Like, I am showing you mercy now instead of killing you like I would have a couple episodes ago, and the richer fruit that this situation will bear for me is my new position as US agent as opposed to being thrown in the raft prison with Zemo. They also have that funny buddy cop moment with Winter Soldier right after to show you that there's no more hard feelings between them, which he also has later with Falcon. So I think the whole idea with that is that potentially when John Walker comes back as US agent in a new Disney Plus series or somewhere else, it'll be much easier to explain how he's more of an anti-hero and less villain-like as he was during, say, like episode 4 when he was killing the Flag Smashers. But then all those reporters swarm Falcon as he flies back in with her body, with a couple of references and jokes to what his new name is going to be. Is it still Falcon? Is it Captain Falcon? Like I said, a lot of the Black Falcon jokes during the episode. But the whole thing here is that he already introduced himself at the beginning of the episode as Captain America, answering all those questions, if you're still wondering. Like, he is Captain America now. Then he meets with the senators, including the senator that he originally gave the shield back to in episode 1, and sort of talks them down from going forward with their plan to relocate the refugees and gets them to find a better solution. His whole speech about them finding common ground with the refugees is meant to be a slightly more reasonable approach to the idea of the Flag Smashers' one world, one people, their whole motto and the title of the episode, like the less stabby approach to their idea. He makes a couple references to Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, and Thanos snapping the Infinity Gauntlet, talking about the GRC's actions, comparing them to erasing half the planet. Then, like I said, they basically spend the entire third act climax in a really long speech that he gives to them. Like, the writers want you to think that this is the most important part of the episode. That's why they spend so much time in this scene. But they intercut it with a couple other major characters' reactions. They show you Isaiah Bradley's reaction, like he's really surprised and happy to see Falcon as the new Captain America, like, oh wow, this is actually pretty good. When he says he doesn't have any super soldier serum, no blonde hair or blue eyes, he's referencing Steve Rogers' Captain America because, one, even though Chris Evans has brown hair for the most part in the last couple Marvel movies, in his first couple of Marvel movies, he was meant to have blonder hair and blue eyes because comic book Steve Rogers has blonde hair and blue eyes. They cut to Torres, who's watching the broadcast on his laptop in the Air Force base that Falcon always works out of, and you notice he's got all of his tools on the bench there for fixing Falcon's old wingsuit. I feel like that's another reference to him potentially becoming the next Falcon, like he did in the comics when Falcon became the new Captain America. You also probably spotted the WHIH Easter egg. They showed up on WandaVision 2 in the Sword headquarters on the broadcast. They're sort of like Marvel's version of CNN in the MCU. Then they set up the post-credit scene when Falcon says that he's going to help Sharon Carter get her pardon like he said he would back in episode 3. And they sort of let you know that the government is acknowledging him as Captain America when the FBI agent comes up and asks Falcon, Captain America, to grab that last Flag Smasher out of the river. But I don't know about you guys, but this last scene where they kill off the Flag Smashers, I actually laughed just a little bit. Like, the butler did it. So as they're driving away, the last 4 that are still alive, Zemo's family butler from earlier in the series kills them with a car bomb, presumably on Zemo's orders, according to his plan. Then just to confirm, they go to Zemo's reaction listening to the news the next day on the raft prison. He smiles, realizing that his contingency plan was successful. His whole goal was to eliminate all the super soldiers, so mission accomplished. And I don't speak German, but maybe somebody who does can translate the titles of those books that are sitting there. I think these books might be the same ones that he had in his prison back during episode 2. But the whole idea is that he's just chilling here on the raft until someone comes to recruit him for the Thunderbolts. That's why right on cue, very Thunderbolt-style scene with U.S. Agent and Julie Louis-Dreyfus's character here at the end, Val gets the same alert about the bombing of the Flag Smashers the next day, sort of joking that Zemo got the last laugh. She also calls Zemo their friend. That's why I feel like her character will be associated with Thunderbolts in the future, wherever they decide to surface that team. It's probably going to be a while before we see them. I do love the way she goes out on those dark jokes. Like, things went exactly the way that she wanted. Maybe she was behind everything, but maybe not. But maybe. Just having some fun with the idea that she is way more powerful than she's let on. The way the showrunners and the producers talked about her recently in interviews say that they set Julie Louis-Dreyfus's character up to be a dark version of Nick Fury, which was why I talk about Thunderbolts when I talk about her character. Like, they wouldn't talk about her as a darker version of Nick Fury without her being responsible for setting some stuff up in the future. But they do have that funny scene with John Walker unveiling himself as the new comic book-looking U.S. Agent character in his comic book accurate costume. She even literally calls him U.S. Agent, and he literally says it's the exact same costume, except black. They don't show you his shield, but his U.S. Agent shield is basically the old Captain America shield, but just U.S. in the center of it. But she basically sets up his future potential Thunderbolt spin-off series, saying that we're not going to need Captain America for the weird stuff that's coming. We're going to need a U.S. Agent, implying that he's going to be doing some really shady Black Ops stuff for her. Then they have the ending scene with Winter Soldier telling Yori the truth about killing his son when he was Hydra Winter Soldier, and you see he left a little gift for his therapist with all the names being crossed out of the book, including Zemo's, because Zemo told him that he took the liberty of crossing his own name out. The reason why he says he's finished the book and he's leaving it to her, like actually leaving her the real book, is because it's his way of saying that he's leaving his past behind him, like he's not going to cling to that anymore. Then they have the big Isiah Bradley ending scene with Falcon. You also have to remember, too, that his grandson here, Elijah Bradley, is a version of Patriot from the comics, a Young Avengers character, so he could always come back when they eventually do a Young Avengers team-up, because it kind of seems like they're slowly setting that up in the background of these Disney Plus series. But Isiah Bradley sort of jokes around with Falcon a little bit, referencing him as this big special figure now, like he accepts him as Captain America, like, okay, I'm happy with what you've done, I'm proud of what you've done. Then Falcon reveals that they've added him and his former squad mates from the Weapons Plus program to the Captain America exhibit. Then they go back to Falcon's home, ending the episode with a party to celebrate him becoming Captain America with all of his friends, the other people from town that they know, the friends of the family. And the end titles read Captain America and the Winter Soldier. So I think, early prediction, if the show does wind up getting a season 2, that's what they'll call the show. It won't be Falcon and Winter Soldier season 2, it'll just be called Captain America and the Winter Soldier. That's like the closest thing we get to the mid-credit scene. The actual post-credit scene is Sharon Carter getting the pardon from the senator. He also calls her Agent Carter, like Peggy Carter, and then talks about the Carter name and the history that it has, because she is Peggy Carter's grandniece, and offers her old job back at the CIA. As she walks away, she calls her people as the power broker back on Madripoor, saying that they've got all kinds of access to the weapons, tech, prototypes to sell to potential buyers around the world. But super soldiers are off the menu. Steve Rogers is somewhere in outer space on that moon base. They made so many references to that moon base during the series, frowning down on her. How could you do this? But I will do a couple more videos about the other big plot teasers and Thunderbolts Dark Avengers talk that's been going around about them setting that up in the background as well with Thunderbolt Ross and Red Hulk stuff. If there are any other big Easter eggs that you spotted during the episode that I didn't talk about during the video, just write them below in the comments, or any big questions that you have. Like I said, the next big Marvel Disney Plus series is going to be Loki. I'll be doing videos for all those episodes, and there'll be a couple more trailers in the next month or so. So leave all your video requests in the comments below. Everyone, click here to learn all about Russell Crowe becoming Zeus, real god in the Marvel Universe during Thor 4 Love and Thunder, and click here for that brand new Shang-Chi trailer video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys tonight.